take a look at it and then know what to do. As I said when I talked to the press in Maiduguri, our going there have made a lot of difference because we have seen what we did not know, or we have heard what we did not know, and we had honest interaction with the soldiers on ground. From our visit, I can say that the commitment of the armed forces of this country is unparalleled to anybody. For the conditions, their commitment and the conditions they find themselves, yet they are very patriotic and laying their lives for the security and the safety to protect us is commendable. So we visited, we went around, we went to even the cemetery to see for ourselves and ask questions. Because as you know, there are all these rumors going around that there is mass burial happening in the armed forces. And then we went to see for ourselves how kitted our armed forces are. We went to see for ourselves what they have on ground. And we went to the hospital, the Army military hospital there to see for ourselves. And we visited some of in Maiduguri, we visited Juntilo, where they have a battalion that hold fort. That is the main entry to Maiduguri. And then we also went to what they call the cashew plantation, where they have a battalion there. And that is a known route of Boko Haram from Sambisa coming to attack Maiduguri. Unfortunately, that same day, Gubio was attacked twice, and Mongono was attacked, and Dalori at the same time, almost the same time, the same day, Thursday. 4 attacks were carried out. But fortunately, our soldiers stood up to them, and they were, able to repel them, and that is the best they can do because of what they have available to them. The summary of this is that we are in a war. And as I just addressed the Senate now, when you are in a war situation and you are budgeting 10.3 trillion and you are allocating less than 1% to defense, that does not show that we are serious about it. The defense, not army, is allocated 100 billion. That is less than 1%. I was hoping that it's 10%. So when I did the calculation, it's less than 1%. Because 1% of 10.3 trillion should be 130 billion, isn't it? So, and following that, as I just finished the debate now, is the issue of humanitarian crisis that follows the insurgency. Right now we have an increase and surge in the IDPs moving from unsafe zone to what they think is safe zone. In northern Borno, people are trooping into Mongono, which is the safest now, and they have the army formation. And that is putting so much pressure on the government, on the host community. The international community so far have, requested from the international donors $848 million. So far, the international community, where they are not just helping us, have so far donated $547 million US. That translates to over 140 billion naira. While the Nigerian government, that this thing is directly affecting us, is budgeting 38 billion for Northeast development and humanitarian. Let's even put it together. The social intervention, that is for the ministry that has recently been created, their budget is 30 billion. So if you look at this, and looking at what our constitution says, the main purpose of government is security and welfare of the citizens. If that is so, in a budget of 10 trillion, more than half of it, or even if half of it should go to secure the country, it's worth it. Because if we are not secured, all these things that you are doing, infrastructure, hospitals, and this thing, will not work. Even if we, like now, if Abuja is not safe, will you come for this press briefing? You will not be able to. If Abuja is not safe, will you go to church? When Boko Haram took over most of the places and they were imminent threat, people stopped going to churches. People stopped going to mosques, and then they pray in their house. Even in their house, they pray with their house locked. So these are our concerns, but we have some window, and we are talking to the various authorities. We give them the first-hand information as to what is going on. And we are hoping that they will appropriately respond and improve on the allocation to 3 critical areas of the humanitarian crisis that follows, security, which is number 1, so that our country will be secure. The only thing that our soldiers don't have are the, upgrade of their equipment so that they come. And that's why they are, you read it somewhere when we went to Maiduguri, the theater commander saying, we need helicopters to come along with the ground troops when there is an attack. That way they can eliminate Boko Haram in 3 months. I think he said it, the theater commander. And the Nigerian army should be kitted, well kitted. Common helmet, bulletproof, boots, uniform, new rifles should be provided. And you can't do that with the paltry sum of 10 billion. And this war needs to be won. The war is won, but the Boko Haram needs to be eliminated. Well, Boko Haram has been defeated, but they are operating in 3 black spots. And from those 3 black spots, they incessantly now, launch attack, not only on the civilian population now, but they take on our soldiers. So far, from the record we saw in the cemetery, I think we lost, by their record there, over 847 soldiers. And that is in that cemetery alone. No, not this year. From 2013 to date, that is their record. And that in that cemetery, they have army cemeteries elsewhere. They have some in Abuja. They have where they bury their victims. But that allegation that there is mass burial, when I saw it there, it's not true. Nigerians don't do that. Nigerians and Nigerian army will never do that. In fact, if any of them is missing, they go out to search to get that person to declare, to know whether he is dead or alive. And even if he's dead, they try to retrieve the body. When we went to the mortuary, we saw some bodies there. And I asked, why didn't you bury them? They said, no, they have their tradition. They must inform the parents, the family. Then they must do arrangement for military burial. That's a true process. And then they asked us now to go and lay it as usual. So that is, I can tell you that we went, ask questions by the side. That is not true. But another area of concern which the Senate will definitely look into is this allegation that the various NGOs in that area are conniving with the insurgents, providing them information, logistics, and so many things. Well, I have been critical about this from the beginning, and people used to warn me that, look, you are so vulnerable. But it has come out now that 1 or 2 of the so-called NGOs operating there are actually aiding and abetting and supporting the insurgents. But we'll do an investigation and we will hear if we have the evidence. So far, we have evidence. We just want to make it credible. The evidence are there, and the common questions are even there. I have asked them before, and you too would wonder. When Chibok girls were released, we were very happy and jubilating. Some people went and negotiated for them, for their release, isn't it? If you go for negotiation, that's common sense. If you say, okay, I'll give you half, you do this, then it means the other half is safe and available, isn't it? But now, how many years? Then what happened? Who was responsible? All these questions are yet to be answered. When the Chiwa girls were abducted, only one was there remaining. But you negotiated for the rest. Then what happened with the only one? But the press is saying government should do that. Government cooperated. I'm sure that the money that was paid came from government. But those in between, what are they talking about? They want to create problem? If not, right from the way, if I'm the one negotiating, and I have 100 Muslims there that can be released, for that Christian, I'll cut off the deal. If you are giving me all these children for social or whatever, give all of them to me. But if you are keeping one of them, you can as well keep all the rest. But nobody is talking. Everybody is just saying, bring back Leah, bring back Leah. Who are these people? So these are the questions you should ask. These are the questions you two express because you get more information than us to find out what's going on. Not just saying so, on what do you do that? You call that a source that doesn't want to be disclosed, or what do you call it? I say it is you that don't want to disclose. Anonymous. So you people should do investigation, please, because this thing will affect all of us. Remember, in 2014, when Boko Haram, captured Borno, or when it started in Borno, you people think that it is Borno's problem. Yes, it is our children, our youth that are mostly engaged in this, but they are Nigerians. Before you know, Abuja is not safe. Before you know, even Lagos was under threat, and everywhere was under threat. So, I think this is what I can so far say. If you have any question, I will be ready to answer. The exploration of the black carbon, or whatever you call it, all over the country is a welcome development, which you know. Even if it is going to the benefit, it's to be to the benefit of our children. Where the oil was exploitation happened is in Bauchi State. That of Borno, the Lake Chad Basin, is in the Gongola Basin there is the Sokoto Basin, there is the Benue Trough Basin, and then the North, the Chad Basin Trough. Well, this is as you said, this is a welcome development, especially for the whole country. Now the issue and equation of talking about this, that will now unify the country more. The challenge we are facing in the security sector, to me, is something that can be addressed within 6 months to 1 year, if proper attention is paid to it. You can't go to a war and then you are budgeting 100 billion. That is not, we are not starting. See, if your house is burning, you should leave everything and put off that fire first before you start talking of anything. Can you ask your children to be eating or sleeping while the fire is burning, and you alone will go there and say you want to put off the fire? You invite your neighbor, you invite your children, you let them go and put the fire first. And now the government is trying to find out who put in the fire while the fire was burning. Put off the fire first, then you try to find out who put the fire on. Is it from outside or within the house? But it seems you are going the opposite. You are talking about infrastructure, you are talking talking about building infrastructures while we are not secured. It won't work. I give you an example. Gubio was burned down and taken over by Boko Haram. In 2015, when this government came, they dislodged Boko Haram in various areas, all the local governments. Then have soldiers to hold ground, as they call it there. So the government went back, built the secretariat that they burned down and some houses. Just recently again, Boko Haram went there and within 10 minutes burned down the whole place. So if you had secured the place before the building, it will still be standing, isn't it? But you have not finished securing the place, you start building. If anything happens, they will come and burn it. You build houses. Government and MDG and the federal government went to build houses in Magumeri, over 300. Nobody is there now because people ran away. Well, there are soldiers there, but people are scared. You've seen your neighbor being slaughtered. The trauma cannot allow you to go back there. And even the soldiers will say it's not safe. They are ready to give up their life, but they want to keep you alive. So if they put you there, your life is at risk. Because these people are engaged in guerrilla warfare. They come and hit them and run. So we need to address this issue squarely. The good thing about it, as the theater commander said, if the Nigerian army have what they want, they can defeat Boko Haram. They said it. Or they can finish with Boko Haram within a short time. And another thing is, the whole of that vast Borno Yobe axis and where the Operation Rafia Dole is operating, they only have 33 soldiers, according to them, 30,000 soldiers. The whole Nigerian army, we have 150,000 Nigerian army with 6,000 officers, as it is now. We have 370 police in this whole country of nearly 200 million. 370,000 policemen to police over 200 million. Egypt here, that are 80 million, they have more than 1 million police and nearly 500,000 soldiers. How can 30,000 fight that war with vast, area? So we have our soldiers scattered, and that's why they brought this new concept, because they are trying all means. When you scatter the soldiers and they stay in their trenches waiting and taking care, if they move out, Boko Haram knows their movement. And the most dangerous thing is, these Boko Haram are not from the alien district. They are Nigerians. In fact, they are from Borno. 80% of Boko Haram are, from Borno. So they even know the terrain better than the soldiers that you send from Port Harcourt. Well, next one. Because, you people, you can put somebody in trouble. The Nigerian army wants aviation, to have their aviation, so they want what they call Nigerian Army Aviation, and they say they are part of their request is that they want helicopters they can build if they, like in Mongono now. Mongono is one of the brigades where the theater is operating, and the Joint Task Force is in Baga. Okay, what they're asking for is to say they want some helicopters there, and it's just a pad. This size of this room can take 2 helicopters if they are located apart. So they have their helicopter there. From there, if they are going, if they hear or they get any alert, they can take off from there to address the situation, just as the ground soldiers are moving towards that direction. It makes sense to me. It makes sense. Yeah. Well, concept to me, and then to me, insurgents like this should be defeated first and dominated. Then anybody that is willing to give, you don't beg somebody to give up his arm. You make him, you force him to give up. If you show the Nigerian army is stronger than Boko Haram. If the Nigerian army dominates Boko Haram and some of them are willing to surrender, that is a welcome development. You had Sekau now. Our governor made a statement when I visited, and he said these are our children, which is true, and that they are reaching out to them. After that, Sekau made a statement. I think you people have seen it. That they are not giving up. They are fighting holy war and da da da. He was talking. If if we take the word to him, it's either he will not be able to make such statement, or he will surrender. If he surrenders, it's a different thing. But he's talking, and he's boasting. And you see, this brings us to this fact. Oh, Boko, this guy is not alive. This is, it further compounds the problem.
Okay, distinguish.
I didn't say that. Get me very clear. Boko Haram have been defeated, but they have not been eliminated. I've consistently said that. Boko Haram was occupying more than 20 local government. Now you can't say that this is a local government that is wholly controlled by Boko Haram. Boko Haram is operating even dangerously and lethally from with the support of ISWAP in the Chad Lake Chad Basin region, and then we have some in the Mandara Mountain and some operating from Sambisa that is connected to that axis, and they are all connected. If you see the attack, it's always happening within Gubbio axis Kaga, and that is the connection from the Chad to Sambisa. And if you see, they always attack again around Firgi and Pulka area before you go to my local. That's their artery to the Mandara Mountain. So it's like there is a connection within the three black spots. I'm saying, and everybody knows that Boko Haram has been defeated. In those days, my own local government, my town, is declared as the headquarters of the caliphate. And Sheka was living in my house. You know? And then when the army repelled them, took over, before they left, he burned down the whole house. And then now, recently, we were able to return our emir. In Goza now we have an emir, not Shekau again. So what do you say? Is it not a defeat? But what happened, or what is the problem now, is that most of the areas in the various local government, when Boko Haram took over, everybody ran, mostly to Maiduguri or local government headquarters that they operate. Now army are there on ground, but before they left, most of the roads have been mined. So if you are going there, you can step on a landmine, and that is dangerous. They can do ambush. So people are afraid. And small villages, which you know, mud houses, if it's not maintained for 1-2 years, the whole thing will collapse. There are no local well that they use. If it is not desilted, after a year or so, it will, almost, be contaminated and filled up, and you don't know. So people are afraid to go back, but the army are there. You can't say, okay, Boko Haram is not defeated yet, but Boko Haram, as I said, have not been eliminated, and they are operating dangerously from their hideouts. They come and hit and run. Now they do ambush consistently, and then they disappear. And the Nigerian army have constrained. But if they had this helicopter as they requested, then helicopter will be chasing them, and they will see them, and will be able to neutralize them, as they call it, or even destroy them. So we have issues of, proper kitting of the army, as I said, and the number. We have made a special request on behalf of the Nigerian army. You can't fight this war without the number, because Sarkin Yawa, Yafi Sarkin Karfi in Hausa, I don't know how to interpret it in English. Because if you are so many, no matter how strong somebody is, if he's one, you can bring him down. But if it is 1-on-1 or 2 of you or 3 of you, the man may be able to face the 3 of you. But if you are 10 or 30, if this one is holding leg, that one is holding hand, that one is pushing, we will bring him down. And the Nigerian army needs the number. Thank you very much. Where is Musti?